When someone reached out to me about Levi, I was in shock. What they told me was that Levi had been attacked by a bigger dog and had broken his jaw. And what happened then was they take him to the vet to get his jaw fixed. We're all good with that. We're happy with that. That's a very rare instance in Bali where this happens. However, something else happened, which was the surgery for Levi's jaw was not successful. And so it broke again and it moved again. But this time, his owners didn't take him back to the vet to fix the problem. So they left it, and Levi's jaw then became chronically infected to the point that it just smelt so badly. An infection was leaking out of his mouth. And when we arrived, we were shocked at what we saw. Here was a dog that was severely emancipated because he couldn't eat properly. This would have been going on for at least more than 3 weeks for that type of infection to set into his jaw. And Levi was a very insecure dog at this point. It was the neighbor's dog that had attacked Levi, and nothing was done in that instance regarding that dog was still left out and do what that dog was doing while Levi was suffering next door. So these guys reached out to me. It was a family. They reached out to me and they asked me to help Levi. And when I arrived on site, I knew that he needed immediate help. If we didn't help him, this dog was not going to make it much longer. On site, I asked his owner whether once Levi was fixed, whether he was going to come back home. And the answer at that point was no, because we're not capable of looking after him. So at that point, the responsibility for Levi had been carelessly shifted onto me.
So I need to distract him and clean his face. Right, because he's been eating, and I need to distract him, right? And you can see his face, right?
It's okay.
And I need to clean the top of his nose. Slam? Yes, okay.
So no.
Okay.
It's okay.
Slam. Good. Listen. Good. Right? Yes, I'm not leaving you. I just need to clean your face.
Okay.
And swallow. He cannot bite. But you know, it's still the surprise factor of everything. You know?
We immediately took Levi to the vet to see Dr. Kadeg, who is one of Bali's top orthopedic surgeons. We established that, yes, Levi needed a second chance of a second surgery. However, before he could have the surgery, he needed to be stabilized. The infection needed to be cleared out from his jaw. So we took him home and we started this whole process, which took 2 to 3 weeks for us to continually work with him every day. This dog took at least 6 hours of each day to take care of, ranging from having to feed him. We are actually feeding him more than 3 times a day. In the end, we were feeding him something like 6 times a day to get the nutritional food into him. And then we had to clean and wash the infection and heal the wounds around his mouth, but basically clean out the infections, which was very hard to do because this dog was very insecure about anyone going near his jaw, near his mouth. And that's understanding because of the pain, the amount of pain he would have been in, and the fact that he couldn't get food in and nobody knew how to feed him, which is why he was dropping weight so quickly and so rapidly. So finding a solution on how to feed Levi was a massive challenge to us because, again, this was the first medical case that we'd ever come across to this extreme. So I had to get really creative and trial and error a lot of ways on how to be able to feed Levi. One thing we knew was we had to puree his food. His food needed to be mashed. There was no way he was going to be able to eat normal food. The other thing that we knew was we had to somehow or rather manage to hydrate him, because without a doubt, this dog would not have been able to drink for such a long time because his owners wouldn't have known how to feed him water. So the race was on to be able to try and find how to accommodate to Levi's needs at that time. And it was a lot of trials and tribulations. There was a lot of tears, blood and sweat going into this, both from Levi and myself. And every day, one feeding session and one cleaning session would take a minimum of 2 hours. So it was like 2 hours, one sitting to take care of Levi, ranging from feeding him to giving him water to then wiping his mouth clean, because keeping it clean was essential to him healing from his infection, and then also treating the infection as well as cleaning the wounds and so forth. Now, I was very comfortable in the knowledge that I knew Levi could not bite because of his jaw. However, trying to educate the staff in that aspect that Levi couldn't bite took a little while for them to understand and to try and behave normal with him instead of behaving scared, because Levi knew that if he put on his defense and cried and snapped, that people would back off. So he would use that as his defense mechanism. So it was kind of like a tug of war between Levi and me, teaching the caretakers there how to take care of him.
Come here. He's a very angry boy. He's still very protective of his mouth, which we can understand. But you know, I need to clean. Crazy town! But I'm gonna fix you, kiddo. I don't care. People probably think I'm murdering a dog in my house, you know? But that's okay. I need to wash him. We need to wash him like 2-3 times a day, because as you can see, look at all the infection here, right? And so the infection coming out from the drainage. Come here. Good boy. Do you see? There has to be a fight first, you know. But what we're doing is we're just cleaning him up, because there's all this infection that's draining out from his mouth. And you can see all here, look. So we change this, we clean him 3 times a day. We take him out to the toilet. Okay. So, here comes the interesting part. Will you give me your other leg like a good boy? No? No. 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 Getting the cone on him is like, no deal. So I think I'm going to take him to the vet today for a checkup and then see maybe if we can put the cone. But we need to look at, I'm a bit worried about the cone, because what happens is, if we put the cone on, then the cone is going to get dirty from the food and everything. So in the end, this process, the first process before surgery, took something like 2 to 3 weeks. We cleaned him up, we put more weight onto him, which was fantastic, and then he was ready for surgery. He went in for his surgery and he needed to come back to me straight away, because feeding Levi was not something that was going to be easy for me to teach the vets in the clinic here how to do it. So it was easier to bring him home to me, and that way then I could continue feeding him. And the other problem is that Levi was not trusting of everybody. He at that point was tolerant of me, but he was not necessarily trusting of me as yet, because every time I still wanted to work with him, he was still complaining and didn't trust
and all that kind of stuff. Eventually, obviously, he did trust me, but the milestone where he actually let go of his barriers 100% was after the drains came out from his jaws, right? So when Levi came home after surgery, the maintenance and the care went up by 100%. Things became more difficult because it was more delicate. We had to be more delicate with how we were going to feed Levi. We need to make sure that he didn't stress his jaw so much. We need to make sure that the surgery site was healthy and clean, and cleaning his mouth was a serious nightmare. It was so difficult. How do you clean the mouth of a dog that's seriously broken, and keep it from having infection? So the challenges that Levi gave to us was, seriously another one of those cases that 100% make us a medical rescue. So this ritual, it went from 2 hours to about 3 hours each sitting to help Levi. So every time he ate, at that point, we had to reduce it down from 6 times a day. We had to reduce it down to 3 times a day only because we didn't want him stressing his jaw so much at that time. So, and of course, Levi was more sensitive to post-surgery care because, he just had surgery again and there were metal plates put inside his jaw and so forth. And of course, infection started again. There was drainage coming out because of the infection and stuff like that. So he was a mess. And to look at his face post-surgery was so heartbreaking for me. And, it would be heartbreaking for anybody to see this. We're pretty sure it's heartbreaking for you to see this as well. But it needed to be done. We needed to help him. This dog needed to be able to eat, to be able to have any quality of life going on moving forward. So Levi's post-surgery was taken care of by me, working around his mouth and things like that. The caretakers were helping me with equipment and so forth. So I was the only one at that point that could touch Levi, and that's why the bond between me and him was solidified so tightly. This case takes a shocking twist because the second surgery for Levi was also not successful, and we worked out at the time the reason why it wasn't successful. We had to try it, but the vet knew when he was doing it that there was a 50-50 chance that this might not work. And the reason why it may not work is because before Levi was rescued, there was so much infection in his bone that the bone rotted away.
This drain from Levi, which is going to be very interesting because the dog is here. So we're just getting him ready, in position.
Okay, ready?
What do you have to do?
Just take one of the stitches and then remove.
Okay.
Because I have stitches for kid.
Okay.
That's what.
Come on. Come on. There, go. Good boy, Levi. Good boy. There's lots of food in there, right? Good boy. Good boy. You want to be dala? Don't be dala. Huh? But he cannot. He still cannot. His bite is getting stronger,
Yeah.
right? But still not strong. Oh, is that not open?
Yes, just keep open. Maybe good.
By itself. Oh, okay. And yes. Good.
After then, the second one, this I'm very worried with the infection.
My thought at the time was I really wanted to get Levi across through to another country like America to, try and maybe do some 3D printing or something to create him a new jawbone. But we did try to get him over, but there were no takers, unfortunately. And so Levi has been with us all this time now, and we've taken care of him. So what we've done is it was important for us to be able to teach Levi how to eat independently, or how we could help him to try and eat independently. And he was never going to be able to do that. So we had to find him a bowl that was for him to be able to put his top jaw over, and then his bottom jaw inside the bowl, so he could try and maneuver the food. In the end, we only had to use a plastic spoon to try and maneuver food up and lift it up for him so that he could eat it, and so forth. So Levi ended up learning how to eat by himself and things like that. With how much time that I'd spent with Levi trying to understand him and learn what needed to be done for him, the bond between me and him was incredible. This dog fully trusted in me and depended on me, and he knew that in order for him to get fed, he needed to be friends with me. So that's one of the major things that happened and grew between Levi and I. So the next step for me was to start to teach his caretakers how to feed him and how to take care of him. And of course, they were still a little bit afraid of him because he would get snappy. It took a lot of focus from me to teach them that, don't be afraid of him. He can't hurt you. He can't get at you. And the reason why he's behaving the way he is because he's in pain and he's uncomfortable and feeling discomfort. And he just absolutely 100% wants to be understood. And understanding him was understanding how to feed him and not be afraid of him. Over time, they eventually understood, and they could take over from me with feeding Levi and how to clean him. We placed a lot of water inside his food so that, he would get a good water intake. And as well as that, after feeding him, we would also syringe water into his mouth.
Oh, really? Levi!
Guess where Levi's favorite spot is in the whole house?
Just a heads up. Hands up those who think that Levi is feeling better. Levi! No! Levi! 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 No! Levi! No! 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 Naughty boy. You can hang out with me while I work, but don't be destroying things. Love you. Yes, you cheeky boy. You cheeky boy. Cheeky boy, aren't you? No. Levi, no. No. Don't be naughty. Cheeky boy. What are you doing? Are you chewing that? Well, you can't really chew, can you? Hey, you can't really chew. Come on, in my office with me. I'm gonna do some work. Come on. Come on. What you doing? What you doing, Levi? Levi! What you doing? Oh, he's getting very naughty now. Look at him. Oh dear. Oh. Careful. Don't hit your mouth. Oh. Strange boy. He's using the top to itch himself, his top jaw, to itch himself. Levi! No. You cannot go out there. We just lock this door so there's no accidents. No, you don't want to meet Dobie. Oh. Well, look at him. He's getting naughty. He's getting really naughty. He's getting really naughty, look. Hey? You're getting naughty. Look at him, he's getting naughty. Oh. What you doing? Hey! What you doing? What you doing? Ow! What you doing? Well, I know you can't bite. What you doing? Oh, Levi. Ouch. You know, that was his top. So it didn't really hurt him. Ow. You're naughty.
This is the next level of where we're at with Levi. He can't quite pick up the food, you can see, but we let him have a go at it first. And then later, he's looking for the spoon, right? So, come on, good boy. Okay, he still can't quite eat, but he's gonna try. So, it would be that we eventually taught Levi how to eat. He needed to be on a raised, his feeding bowl needed to be raised to a certain level. And we also worked out that to drink, we needed to lift up the water bowl as well for him so that he could drink decently. And he will let us know. He now communicates and let us know exactly what he wants and what he needs and so forth. So he's learned to communicate and we've learned to understand him, which is fantastic. So today Levi lives as a very happy dog. He's friends with all these dogs in the pack. He eats on his own and he drinks on his own as well with the help of his caretakers. And of course, after every meal so that infection doesn't set in and so forth, we make sure to clean his mouth and make sure that, nothing's stuck in there so he doesn't get infection. Is Levi available for adoption? I would say that Levi is still available for adoption because he's such a wonderful dog. The only thing is he would need to go into a medical foster first, and whoever was going to adopt him would need to be able to go and visit him and get close to him and build up a connection with him so that by the time the medical part of his healing was done so that he could probably potentially eat again, his jaw doesn't become snappy and he can't snap. So that's where we're at with Levi at the moment. He's now been with us for 4 or 5 years. He's a beautiful boy. He deserves a good home. He deserves a good chance. But yes, it's a huge medical case that, we would love to be able to give him his opportunity if somebody was willing to, team of people wherever he went was willing to give him that opportunity as well. So for expressions of interest to help Levi, please email us.